Yo, back for another one. Um, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I've still got motion stuff. I don't know if I've kind of exhausted everyone's interest in, I don't know, me grinding out all these little details in the motion. I did spend a good amount of time on, fuck, what was that, Friday? Working out some of the details. Actually, Matt, the guy, I don't know if anyone could hear. I haven't like played back the audio on that one, but yeah, he helped out with a lot of stuff. It turns out I was doing like all my masks entirely backwards, so that was fun. You know, basically, the way I was using masks was kind of the way in Photoshop, like if you have a clipping mask, it kind of sits underneath and it clips what's on top of it. But for some reason, it's the opposite way around in After Effects. So the way he describes it is like just look at it as a window that you're looking through with the track mat. And for some reason, like it broke his brain when he looked at it. He's like, I don't what? And like it makes sense. Like I don't really understand how I was able to get it to work in any sort of way, but figured that out and then got into some parenting of different positions. There was one particular element in the like gallery nav indicator where it was like a wipe. I think I was asking about it last time. It was like whether or not you could do you could have a mask also be shown as you're animating it. And it turns out you can, but it's a lot more work than I was expecting. Let me see if I can pull that up real fast. I was working on this guy last night. It still doesn't fully make sense, but some of the parenting that goes on with this, um, so it's been very helpful. like like so if I modify the list, it's like basically I'm using it as like a smart object more or less. Um, so I have all the drop down content. So if I need to change this, if I need to add more, whatever the fuck it is, like um, this position is now parented to the position of basically another instance of the list. Um, it's I can parent pretty much everything to it. And I'm sure this is like common fucking knowledge for a lot of people who do any sort of um, like who do like motion design with any sort of frequency. You're like, yeah, no shit. But news to me. So Village Idiot here just kind of stumbling or Mr. Magoo his way through motion design. So if that's what you tuned in for, then you know what? I'm happy to oblige. I'm working on my second cup of coffee. I've been kind of at it since 7. It's 8:30 PST, but it's a fucking Monday. Might as well just get right into it, Sal. What's good, man? Why would anyone expect Adobe products to share the same feature rules? I mean, come on, John. Yeah, that's that's what I was talking about with Matt when he was walking me through like how masking works in After Effects. Like, it's like they both kind of make sense, but the fact that there's no parity between them two is just like I don't have a good reason why. Like it is literally the opposite. The way a track mat in After Effects works and the way a clipping mask works in Photoshop, literally exactly the opposite. So I'm over here trying to just like set up my track mat and it's gonna work exactly like a clipping mask and I'm doing the opposite. So and like the other one, the one that gets me, and there's no way to like configure it is like I've gotten used to every application using the escape key. That's how I submit text. I'll just type away and just push escape and I'm on my way onto the next thing. Uh, that just cancels all my input. So there's so much stuff with like this, was it? Like getting into all these stupid little things. I think I did it on stream probably about 1,000 times. It was just like, oh, I'm gonna type out what that content actually is, and then type it all out, and it just doesn't work. Or then it doesn't submit. Sorry. I'm not gonna complain about Adobe All Stream. I absolutely could, but I don't think anyone needs to hear that. So what I was, let me see if I can find it. I have to find, oh, it's comp one. So this is, turn transparency off. So this is the example that we used of, so there's basically two, like there's the active state and the inactive state. And it's just like the black text is being masked by this sort of expanding background, but like all the parenting and stuff going on, like the clip is being like parented to the background. So as the background expands, the clip expands. It's basically happened to both. Well, so then you do like an inverted of alpha inverted of the same. So basically the one that's underneath is doing an alpha inverted to this clipping mask, which is then parented to this. So both clipping of like the background and the active is both parented to the background. And because this is inverted and this is a regular alpha mat, like that's how it's being shown. Couldn't figure that out for the life of me. But this is gonna make my life so much easier. Because before I was trying to do all sorts of greasy stuff, which I don't have to do anymore. Nice. So yeah, like you know, I kind of put this out there as like just a Monday whatever stream. I'm trying to, you know, see if I should just come at these with less of an expectation and less like goal oriented and just, you know, do whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Because yeah, those more like technical videos are coming, which maybe that's where that sort of stuff should live. But you know, open to feedback and suggestions. And I don't really do it very often, but I did ping my the Twitters that I was going live. I don't know what that's gonna do. Maybe some random people are gonna show up. I don't know. Yes, the escape shit drives me nuts. Yeah, absolutely does. At least some of them allow you to configure it. It's like, do you want the escape key to submit or do you want it to like cancel? I don't know. I like that flexibility. But yeah, kind of like, I don't know if there's anything anyone here specifically wants to see. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of keep moving on this. I have this drop down nav that I'm working on. It starts getting into like what this grid functionality is, and I'm still kind of wishy-washy at best. So I'm kind of scared. But I think just getting some of the details in here. Let's see the progress so far. Yeah. Yeah. So, so there's a couple different clips. So, there's a click and drag that I haven't really started. So the build selector is here. So let's see. I can just minimize this shit. Apparently I zoomed in a lot. Yeah, so this is just going to be like a hover. And so this is the actual list of like the builds. And again, initially designing this framework, there weren't this many builds to account for. So this is a bit of a pivot. And I mean, it's good to think through. Like, it just shows the flexibility of the system, but it's a little extra work. That's okay. I don't know what's going on with, that's the start engine attention grabber thing. I don't know what that's really there for, but so we got this one, build selector. Got the load in, which I accidentally deleted. So, oh, the logo's gone. That's good. There's a couple little like sequencing things to figure out. I'll make this bigger. In terms of like where the branding shows up. Like the initial sequence in of like the video cuts, not the greatest. It's close. But yeah, then I swapped out all the content for so that was something I did. This was a fun thing that I really didn't want to bore you a lot with, but like exporting out all these images. So then when I have my content, so knowing like the content is all displayed in the same sort of manner. Can you please select that? Guess not. Oh, this is, I don't know what's going on. So it's just like bugging out. Like, why is it giving me the hand grabber? I can't click on anything. I don't know if I like entered some weird mode. I couldn't have. I think it's just After Effects bugging out. So here we go. Great start. Go ahead and save, quit, reopen. Yeah, I'd love to show you what I've done so far. Oh, yeah, and thank you again for everyone for the support. I don't think I kind of acknowledged that enough. It's wild, like, you know, across Twitch and YouTube, I think it's getting up to like 500 followers or something like that, which is wild. So thank you, thank you. Well, we seem to be back. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, so getting to like a lot of the major components are more or less there. Um, it was getting also, so the free scroll is another one. That was kind of interesting. So I can talk through. So one of the issues I had was like, how do you set like a glide of like if you have someone kind of dragging, how do you like how do you properly show like a release, like an ease out sort of release? And so that was something Matt and I talked about on Friday. And that was, let's see, this is all off the position null. Um, can you show that, please? Which one is that? It was all about instituting like this longer release time. And so the way that he explained it was all about like adding an additional keyframe at the peak. So you kind of modify the initial move so that peak happens on a frame, and then you add a keyframe there, and then you readjust the keyframe velocities, and then it's basically all about moving this. Oh, you can't see it because it's behind my stupid face. Like you just start dragging this endpoint out, and so it retains the top point. Although you could see it did kind of fuck it up a little bit. But even then, it's like it's not totally broken. It still feels like a because you have like this elongated dropout, and like I could just reduce this or move that out further and kind of help with that, but I'm kind of good with it. Like you can see, like it has that like quick move and then just this really long tail to it. So got that working, which is nice. Get out of that. And then what else is there? Gallery nav load in. Oh, the hover. The hell? Oh, good. Spam. Love it. Spammers are thirsty. Don't waste any fucking time. Yeah, so this is where I'm gonna have to like start instituting that like right here on that click is where um that example of like the masking is gonna have to kind of be shown. But I think everything else here, like all the timing of this stuff is there. I did sort of resolve on hiding this to its most minimal form, so it's really gone until you hover on it. Kind of torn on like whether I think it's important to show this, so I might actually have to bring back the little bar I had on some of these. Uh, so you can see I still have the meta to do as well, which I think will be a fun thing to do. I know I started that last time. But so the idea like behind this was initially if you condense it down, you still have that reference point of where you are. There was another point in which this active box, it just moved at a slightly different pace. Like, didn't move as much to the left. So if I condense this down to here, this box would still be like there. And you don't need that. And so it gets a little weird because then it's like, all right, how much do I show? Do I start showing like the number on it? Does the number fade out? I was thinking the number would fade out, and then so if you do a free scroll or if there's like a keyboard way, you could still see kind of where you are. The other problem being that this then also free scrolls within here, so there's some little weird nuance in that of like, okay, this is not like true absolute position. Like this is 1, this is 60. Like technically 60 is somewhere off the bottom down here. So, but again, like this is a concept, and so I think there's a technical solution to it. I don't know how great it is. I may need to rethink it. Like if this were going into production like it was supposed to, could have been a way. That's good. Yeah, someone I know thought they had COVID. They do not have COVID. So that means I might not have COVID. Got a slight scratchy throat. Sorry, that was kind of distracting. But yeah, ironing out kinks like that, like, you know, I think there's a definite solution to it. Like you could say maybe the like when it shifts to the side, this becomes like an absolute position. So this would technically scale down. I don't know what it would be. Let's see. Ah, fuck. That's not what I want. So let's see. I'm fucking this all up just for an example. So clearly not enough. But in theory, if this were going to be real and we had like a max, this could be the updated scale, and so you're able to reach the 60. So this indicator is still, it becomes more of like an absolute representation of your vertical progress versus having these larger thumbnails that are they're easier to interact with. That's the whole point. And plus it's kind of a design, like the initial project was supposed to just be like a design sort of exercise. So some of this you could argue is just visuals for visual sake. Like you could make a more optimized experience, but I don't know. It's like leaning into the automotive race sort of theme, and I don't know. That does create more complexities, but it shouldn't be that bad. Is this a reactive animation? It is not. So this is just After Effects right now. Yeah, yeah, this is for those who haven't been on some of the other streams. This is. Oh, what are you doing here? Guess you can go. So this was supposed to be a live clickable site. It was in production and then it was not in production. So um, yeah, it technically should all check out and work, but yeah, this is just purely animation. Could you please explain the scale change of images on scroll, like with the size reduced up to a threshold, but in the composition, there's a point where images are pretty small. So what is the control for scaling while scrolling? So there's actually two different methods. I've gone back and forth on whether, so the backstory to this is like this was happening. This is kind of what I was putting my energy into. And it was just, it's basically like a media browser. And when this fell through, Ari was saying we should do like my photo website. And so this initially had the zoom, but then I moved the zoom over to my portfolio site as like a key component. But I've kind of brought it back here. I'm kind of just like, I don't fucking care if it's one-to-one. Like zoom's kind of an important function when it comes to browsing media, so it's not that ownable. But maybe it's better explained through static. So the thinking is, and I this was some feedback that Sal had. Actually, feedback we got midway in the actual project was that there wasn't visibility into what you're browsing. Like, so if you interact with this, there was no sort of feedback on what you're going to be viewing. So this created this whole idea of like having a zoomed out version, and so you hover over this and you see all of them. There's no way to scale shift. It's just like you can go as fast as you want. The free scroll, I've brought back the zoom. So with like the initial thought was 60 images for each build potentially, with videos mixed in. And so if you have this very linear like like full screen slideshow where you're just kind of going like next, which you can absolutely do. That's something like it's going to be in keyboard commands. But whether or not there's another interface, I don't know. I don't want to add any more UI, but I might need to. But the idea being like if you go into a free scroll, like you're kind of in like a browsing mode. And so the thinking was that you could have broader visibility into the project. And so you're able to control it, like you don't have to. The intent is that there's this default, I think like 75% scale, which is going to be somewhere in the middle. I think I'm going to call it 35 millimeter. Again, using camera references, which I do on the photo site, but that's kind of whatever. And so don't have to opt into it. You can just free scroll, but you have to click back in, which actually I think I have that done. Yeah, so this is what free scroll looks like. So if you initiate a scroll, it just kind of scales back. It gives you the context. Oh, you can't see that because it's off screen. It's good. So you can see like interacting with the zoom, it shifts the scale, but then if you click on one, you go right back into the full screen. So that's one view. The click and drag is another view. So that is, so this is going to be all like, as soon as you let go, it's going to go back in to the full screen. So this is more like a transitional moment. Like this is, I know it looks like there's a lot of kind of in and out, but people yelling outside always distracts me. I don't know why I can't get past it. So like if you just want to initiate a click and drag, you can just like bounce between the images. But I started thinking like, well, wouldn't it be nice to kind of like, especially as it gets towards mobile, to just like initiate a drag, but then if you could still browse a broader scale. So that's where like this sort of X position comes in. So Y position is to progress up and down through the images, but then if you go X position, it'll adjust the scale. So again, it's the same thing. It's just different ways to browse. Um, and yeah, like I really think I need to bring in like a more explicit sort of keyboard function or just like a next or I think autoplay being instituted. Um, I think all those things are there. And it's kind of, it might be redundant and it might be over the top, but this is sort of a, I mean, considering what it actually is, it's just a concept. It might be excessive, but that's okay. It's grounded in reality, but it might be a little excessive. So, yeah. Why? Oh, I just moved everything. Moved it again. Why did I move it multiple times? That's interesting. Ooh, what was that? Oh, there we go. So one thing I cannot for the life of me understand, um, there is Extrudo, yo, thank you. Oh shit. Um, glad you like it. Fuck. Unable to. I didn't think I was executing a script, but maybe I was. Um, what did I say? Oh yeah, the indicator. Why? Let's see. Scroll position marker. Anyone has any insight into why this is happening? So it animates in, it goes to the first one. It's supposed to go to the second one. No, this is not the right one. Let's see. Oh, it's not build in. Not build selector. I'm gonna start just cleaning this up. I think it's this one. Let me see. There's like this random drift that I can't figure out. Not that one. Must be in free scroll. Oh yeah, it is because I'm so zoomed in. Like you see that like hitch? Scroll position marker. What? Am I losing my mind? Is that not the same? This. What? Scroll position marker. Oh, wait, what? What is? Oh, free scroll. So that's not even supposed to be there. That's weird. I didn't know I had duplicate. Well, this guy. Maybe I was editing the wrong one. That drift right there. Linear interpolation between these. It's all the position of this guy. Drift, drift, drift. Like, I don't... keyframe interpolation. Linear. Linear. Did that just do it? Nope. Ow. It's not pairing it to anything. So what I'm gonna do... It should be the same. It's just this position. 1427... 582. So I can just find the position. I'm just gonna get rid of these keyframes. Put this here. Shit, where was it? Right here. So these should be just linear. So this is what, 427, 582. Are we gonna behave? What? I'm just starting to use hold, so I'm assuming it's probably something with that. 594, maybe that's why. I mean, not wrong. Although the interaction is a bit abstract, which I think is fucking rad, it's quite clever. The little detailed 35mm to label the zoom levels is really cool. It adds that extra level of... nicely done. Hey, thanks, man. I mean, it might be one of those things that's like just trying to be too clever for its own good. And this is where it would be so nice to be able to like play with it and actually build it. But that's not, yeah, it's not happening. Unless someone wants to build it, I'm all for it. You know, would be cool. But I think it's going to be a whole thing to actually build. Got time. Plus some of the WebGL limitations, like probably have to rethink some of this stuff. I've made some decisions after that are like, it's generous. So I did fix the drift. It doesn't move now though. That's the problem. Oh, I think it just shifts one. That's not right. Re-scroll. It starts there. It should, right. Once it goes off, that's when that transition should start. Right there. Re-scroll. Actually, no, once it should technically be like the halfway point. So just a little shift. And once it starts going on, that's when the animation should start. Oh, no. No. Yeah, there we go. I just gotta make sure this and the next one, they are not the same. This should be 582. Now I think this should be right. Oh, drift. Okay. I'm gonna just get rid of that. Maybe not. Don't move that. And toggle hold. So that was something that took some convincing from Matt. I was just like, not convincing. I just never use hold keyframes. I don't know why. Always fucked with my head. Of like, how do I start it again? But it was as easy as like, yeah, it just holds it until it gets more information, which would be the next keyframe. I thought there was some way you had to like reactivate it. Just like, not accurate. But should be. So there's one more scroll. I forgot that there's. Be right there. Whether or not your intention is surprise and delight is definitely follows that mindset. Just what separates interactive experiences from boring fucking websites. Hey, I'm trying to keep the web kind of weird. I don't know if this is as weird as it could be, but yeah, it's one of those. It's like, you know, I'm sure some UX people will have some very definitive feelings about, um, oh, that's not obvious enough. Yeah, probably. It's okay. Explore, you know, live a little. That's, I know it kind of sound like a cop out of like, oh, that's just me not wanting to think through it. I don't think that's necessarily true. I can make a boring website if I want to. Oh, that's not good. Get out of here. What's the project? I'm seeing things all over, don't understand. Um, well, perfect. No, it's I mean, I can give you the tour a little bit. Um, kind of just did a walkthrough, I think probably right before you got here. It was just like a scroll experience showing like the different zoom, different titles changing. So I've got so many different moves. But I think the whole like storyboard is there. So this is just, it's going to show like the idea is I'm going to have all these main videos stitched together, potentially in one long video just to show the full experience. But then as I just kind of break it out for my site, and probably social media posts and all that shit, I'm just going to have them each as like their own individual thing. Um, always keep the web weird. You're right, Federico. It's someone's got to do it, you know? I'm just doing my part. I don't know if it's weird enough. It's like if you want to do the same thing, that's cool. Oh, there's so many moves. I forgot about this. Yes, I did this one already. We get that. Still there. Still there. Still there. Oh, shit. Right. Somewhere in here. You fancy this one? Hey, thank you, man. Much appreciated. It's a fun one. That's partially why, like, when this died, um, I just didn't want to keep it dead. Like, I just love everything automotive too much, and I don't have anything automotive, and I'm starting to look for work now, and it's like, if I could get something for Singer, fucking awesome. You know, if this happens to fall in Singer's lap and they just see something, because I mean, talking about it before, their web, um, their web presence right now is just compared to their products, like it's just like this incongruency of like how they represent themselves in their products. It's like I think they know, like their web seems just like an afterthought. Where do you stop? Right there. But wait, what's happening here? Oh, okay. I see what's happening. I was like, wait, did I just tie the zoom to the position for some reason? It's like, I don't think I'm that dumb, but I never really know. Always a good chance. So this is where it's just good to see. I have to figure out the exact number of slides that it shifts. So then I can match that here. But go ahead and turn that off. So now I'm doing my track mats properly. The mask is on top? Or no, these aren't updated. These are still wrong. Don't look at that. So that's there. 80, 20. Right, so I might have to redo that. I don't know if I want to institute another sort of like a smooth scroll with this. Like it's kind of like there is an easing curve to it, but it's just like this. it doesn't have that long release. So I think it might be good to do that again. But kind of what I was talking about before of like, how do I get this sort of like release basically. So I want to, oh shit. I don't know what I just did. Fuck. Don't separate dimensions. What am I looking at? Oh, I don't know what's going on here. What is this button? Those are not linear moves. There should be curves. Oh no, they are linear moves. Remember when I said there was easing on it? Oh, it didn't. Oh, there was some. There's no way. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what I did to remove all those easing frames. It's not good. But I think it'd be nice to have like a little bit of a glide between these. So it's this one that I want. So I'm just gonna move this until I get it on a keyframe. So I get the peak at a keyframe. And so then I come here, I can add this. And I just want to make sure this influence is still the same. Creates a little hitch, but then if I just, oh, not that one. Drag it out, I can get this long release. So it should give it this nice sort of glide at the end of it. See if I did that right. That would be proud. Yeah. You see that like it just ramps up and has this long release. So really like the bulk of the scroll is happening right here, and this from 8:15 to 10 is really the full like breaking. But the thing I have to do now is I have to duplicate that same kind of complex curve with long release for the text and now the actual indicator. It's too much for me. All the time I plan to start a motion project ends up being easier to actually code it. I know. I think with this one, like this one with some of the moves I'm doing, it goes above my head in development, but I could definitely see, I could see a world in which, you know, might as well develop it. Because I was mentioning it too before, like, I'll even open up like a random page on Webflow and just like drop in random assets. Like, they're like buried pages on my site, I feel like. I think I got rid of them. I'll like create them and delete them, but then I'll just use the interaction panel from my site just to do some simple like scroll motion. Like if I want to like a quick clickable prototype. I don't know. I think it definitely helps. I gotta respond to a text real fast. It was that kind of important one. I think this should work. Hey, did something. All right, almost done. There we go. Okay, I can get you out of the color bar purgatory. Yeah. So this curve is going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah. I never noticed this. Like if you do a pre-comp and you have all these markers, it inherits it, which I always end up deleting. So many of these are duplicates. Yeah. There's like a lot of structural thing that are probably like I'm making a headache for myself. Like all these gallery nav instances, all these scroll position marker instances. I think you kind of have to, like if you're gonna like show different states and different interactions. Like if I did this as one long thing, I think it works, but I don't want to get in the business of just like pushing and pulling. So I think breaking things out into chapters is super helpful. So this is, that's gonna be, where's the out? Right here. I'm just gonna put a marker because I don't think I can put that there yet. I have to go ahead and find 80, 20. Why was that? Shouldn't have been that hard to do. Let's. Oh, yep. So it's almost at that correct position. I keep forgetting that my stupid face is over the screen. So if you ever can't see anything, just let me know. I'll move. And as always, like if there's anything that doesn't quite make sense, absolutely feel free to ask. Or if it's not like today, it's just kind of a Monday stream. This is what I'm working towards getting this shit done. So this is kind of my priority, but I'm open to jumping into absolutely anything right now. So, you know, hit me with whatever. Kind of got my mind on like motion or like video type stuff. I was working on the cinematic page last night for my site. All these different like color gradings. I started after having an edible. I opted to work on some music production. Very interesting. Nothing I really care to share at this point. You know, maybe in time. So I have not been tracking the numbers. I don't think the numbers are on at all. 7, 8. Ooh, yeah. Those have been going rogue. Shit. Well, at least I can mimic what's going on here. So this. See, there you go. That's animating up slightly. But this should be a hold here. Hold. It's all this stuff I want to get like shortcuts for too. I don't have my Stream Deck built out. Sadly, this is what I'm looking at for my After Effects Stream Deck. So Matt, the guy who was on here before, he and I are going to work on something for this, I think. Also, like, he created this thing called Quick Shapes, which is extremely useful. So remember all that like half pixel shit? A lot of that was like weird anchor points. It was positioning on the half pixel. It was just the way it renders. I was using scale instead of size to animate. So one thing he created, why can't it see the line controls? No, maybe that's not a quick shape. That's why. So just as a quick example, using quick shape. So he, like, it's using all sorts of expressions in the background, but it just creates like a default shape, which you can then control like the fill color, the stroke color, the size, all from like an elevated position. So if you use like the shape tool in any sort of capacity, you will know that it is a huge pain. So like if you want to change the size of this, like you either have to open everything up or you have to open this up, go into the contents, the rectangle, shape path, and that's how you modify size versus having like everything just elevated here and kind of in like a clean position. So, and then you can just change the center point very easily. I have motion 3, which also lets you do that too, but I don't know, like it's the one thing I'm finding in motion is like optimizing workflow is huge. Like a lot of this stuff is pretty repetitive. So if I can, and also if I can get into a better habit of animating size versus scale, I'm gonna be much better off. So that's one of the cool things he bestowed upon me. So if you want something like that, probably have to bug him for it. Mr. Matt Austin, if you want to find him. So here we go. I just have to get all these moves. Okay, so there's clearly a shift here. I gotta redo this. So I duplicated one of the other scroll indicators. So the fact that these are all wrong is not a huge surprise to me. But at least like having the position moves figured out here, or like I just basically have to sync it. So this shouldn't take too long. 8, but holds till here. And then it goes, what, 1? And like I could be smarter about this and just get the math of how much this is moving and just apply it. I'm not smart though. I like doing things the hard way sometimes. And I did find out, like he was on the stream he was on, I mentioned that I always have like this 80-20 keyframe interpolation, or keyframe velocity. Come to find out, he's totally changed his. So I think he uses like 40-90, something like that. It's just a little more exaggerated. Let's see if this syncs up. Oh, wait, what? How? That's how to do it. Yo, what? Why is there that like a serious hitch? You love to see it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and nip that in the bud. There's so many things like that. Like I don't have a great answer for why it's doing that. This should be hold. Really? That's really the 80-20. That is not 80-20. Promise you. Motherfucker. Get out of here. If I see that same curve again, why? Why are you doing this? This is part of the fun. Motion's fun. This isn't even on the graph. Yeah, like how is this? You know what? You win some, you lose some. I'm gonna go ahead and not lose sleep over why that's happening. I've redone that keyframe velocity multiple times. So it does the single shift. Toggle, nope. Toggle the hold. And right here should be another keyframe. It goes one more. Yep. Keyframe. 80, 20. Toggle the hold. Save at this point. So this is the one. It shouldn't be that bad. See. Nope. Why is the 60 going away? The 60, I mean, this is easy. I just have to move this to the end. Wherever the end is. Lee, it's good, man. Not much, man. Just trying to grind out the last bit of this silly thing. So I've done a couple streams on. People are pretty well overseeing this, but I don't know. So yeah, just try and grind and get this done. Learning a lot about motion, especially best practices. Like I definitely was making Matt cringe because he does this for a living and he's very specific and systematic about it. And then there's me just like, oh, I don't know, let me just try this and see if it works. So yeah, some of this stuff, you know, a little repetitive, but that's kind of why I'm caveating today is like, you know what, you got something you want to ask me about non-motion related, like I'm into it. Let's go there. So, oh, I didn't. I established keyframe velocities, but I didn't specify a move. This is, again, like I'm gonna have to match the proper amount, which I should probably do now. Let's see. So it goes from this interior, ends on the interior shot, starts on this view. So this is what's moving all the time. Is this one? Yes, it's the first front view. And so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So plus 60 or so. Can it do math? I don't know if I can do math. So this is, no, it's 6. 6 times 12, I should 72. Okay. I just have to, I don't trust myself with math whatsoever. Plus 72. Oh. Minus 72? Nope. Minus 72. Fuck. Nope. That didn't get me to the right spot at all. There we go. Right there. Let me get that out from, oh, nope. Yep. Try and get that, like I was saying, get that high point there. It's at 15, add a keyframe. Get my keyframe velocity right. And Matt gave me a good way of thinking about what's it called? Keyframe velocity. Because like the in is technically the out, if you really think about it, and sometimes it depends like in what context you're thinking or talking about it, but like, so this incoming velocity is technically like out. It's like the start, which you'd think like incoming, like that would be like towards the end. So he equates that to like, if you fire a gun, this is like when it's incoming. So this is the start, this is the end. And the positioning of it, it helps make sense. But like if you kind of get latched onto the names, at least for me, like I was very confused by what the fuck was going on. I think that actually worked. Was there something or an existing site that had inspired you to create interactions like these that you've referenced along the way, or are these straight out of your head? Lee, I think I got you. All right, Lee. Thanks for coming through, man. Yeah. I should be around for a while today. I'm just kind of grinding. I don't have much on my plate. I think I pretty much talked myself out of some work. So that's fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna be here for a while. But yeah, Sal, answer your question. Is there an existing site you was inspired? I don't I don't really know. I mean, for this, there were definitely references we tossed around. I can't remember what they were though. Um, not specifically for this one, I don't think. I think this is kind of, I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know where you draw the line because a lot of this stuff has been done in some way, shape, or form. I mean, this sort of like scaled out zoom. This is something I had in a, I've seen it around the web. I've had it in some comps as far back as like 2016. Like, it's not a new idea. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm referencing that, but like my old comp that has it, it's kind of like you see it everyone across the web. Like, there's plenty of places that incorporate that sort of scrolling interaction. So it was really just kind of mapping it out in my head, and some of it was finding out, like going through design and like sharing it, finding out like, okay, here's a gap. How do we address that? That's kind of how these start building out, is like have an initial idea and then mess around with the experience and find out it's like, oh fuck, like uh that's cool and all, but like how do you see the broader build quickly? That was like one of the big things, was like 60 images or so, and you're stuck in this sort of like scroll interaction. That's not what I would call ideal. Um, so then that created the different interactions, and then um, yeah, I mean specifically with, I don't know, like some of the elements that just came from my head of like automotive and pulling wherever the fuck these are, like references like these, and just thinking about metrics. And so everything I'm looking at when I'm designing the site is like all through the lens of um, like it's all automotive. So if I'm choosing a way to represent like a gallery position, how do I leverage something automotive? Um, I don't think that's as much your question. That kind of established some of like the visuals. So that, again, it's been done because it's like all this automotive visual design language, but the interaction and framework, kind of from my head. With who are you working on this? Think I missed that. Nobody right now. It was set to be a really fun collaboration. Um, I'm just, yeah, I can't get into any more detail than that. I think it's um, would have been good. Some good collaborators in there, but yeah, right now this is just a solo endeavor. Um, so no developer on this one anymore. Um, no content partner. And this is something I kind of came up as a potential idea. Like, I was kind of excited. I kind of like melded a couple different worlds together for this, what the initial one was, but yeah, it's what it is. I'm happy still. Like, I'm gonna have something to show. I wish it was something people could interact with, but it's not the case. That's all good. So this is the old unsolicited redesign that everyone loves so much. So I don't think I have this going the right amount. This looks like it goes way too far. Let's see. Should probably modify this. Put some numbers to it. And yeah, I'm gonna do... I'm gonna do the right content. I just have to like write the caption. Some of the views are fairly repetitive, so that's something to also think about. I'll see. I almost pushed escape, which would have just undone all that. I'm learning. Arjun, yo, it's good, man. Oh no, I get it. Sorry, I thought the back and forth was current. Oh no. Yeah, I know what you're saying. No, that was when it was real. That was some of the feedback. So there were other people giving input at that point. Not as much now. On my own. 3, so it needs to go to 9. Maybe I had it right? That's just dumb luck. It was actually animating the correct amount. Weird. Blind squirrel. Only thing I'm curious. Oh, I gotta do that one last move. I wonder how long this should wait before it scales back in. I kind of like that it's all at once. Maybe it's not important to see what the title is. It's almost like if you click something that's outside of focus. This is done just out of like cleanliness. I like things kind of just like coming from the middle and resetting position. But yeah, I'm just curious if that should shift. Or if that should just... Maybe I like speed up, so if you click right there, that's when this whole thing starts animating out. To be right here. You can test it. See if it... That's hiding that. Mask is what's moving. Yeah, my masks are all backwards, so this is fun. Line. And so this is where I'm still using scale. I should be using size. I should really redo this. Oh, and I think I fucked up all the timing. Because there's like an organic offset to all these. I should keep. So yeah, there's the out. This will be on click. It should be on click now. I kind of like that it clears before the image resolves. Click. And like right there, like, so the zoom starts animating out. The line resolves. It's like almost as it hits this keyframe, that's when the zoom happens. And I know like the zoom like grabber is still being shown there. I have to rebuild that because that's most of it's just like a JPEG now, which has the grabber built into it. And I'm gonna have to do the actual like zoom distance. Do you have any tips for e-commerce design? Through what lens? Excuse me. What are you trying to achieve with the any e-commerce project? Like, are you trying to get weird with it? Trying to keep it like interesting? Are you trying to perform more? Are you trying to do both? I'm gonna export. This zoom. I have to think about the scale now too. I want to make this accurate. So 35 millimeter. So if you know lenses, master, like 35 millimeter is technically like as your eye sees things. So I think that should be in the middle, but I just wonder if I have like an adjusted scale. So I think the bottom should really be like, I think the widest lens I have is 16 millimeter. And like I have a closer zoom than 200, but I think just for scale purposes, like 200 everyone knows is pretty pulled in. And again, this is kind of like an arbitrary thing. Like I'm referencing like whatever this zoom is, which I like the idea that 35 millimeter is like actual size. That's about as far as it goes. Anything past that, you know, I don't really know if it needs to be that accurate. I'm designing a concept e-commerce site and adding animations in After Effects, but I don't have any real experience with it, so I'm just messing around. Yeah, just trying to get weird and interesting. Also have a distinct art direction. Yeah, I mean, it's e-commerce. It's all about picking your moments. Like how do you stay weird but still convert? Because I think that's the biggest thing is recognizing. I'm gonna go get weird. See, these are all different sizes. Why? This is where I can just systemize it. What's the height? 200. I like that number. Oh, it's right here. So I will create a symbol out of this. Call this zoom track. I got my little hotkeys at it, even with my misspellings and all. Where are you? Put it all the way at the end. I don't know a better way of doing this. Why? I guess I can put it closer to here. 87212037 721. What? I think it's the first time I've ever used layer search. That should get me in the ballpark at least. Where are you, buddy? Hey, not bad. Background color, don't include in exports. Yeah, to back on the e-commerce point, so I don't think I quite answered that. You know, it's always a struggle to try and do something unique with e-commerce. It's always going to be a fight, and you're going to have really good reasons for getting weird. Which is, you know, you don't have a lot of legs to stand on. It depends on the client and what they find acceptable in terms of like doing it for the sake of branding and brand perception, where it's like, okay, maybe we don't have the most boring, straightforward thing. Which I mean, again, I don't really blame clients because this is like if you have a stakeholder who's responsible for growing their e-com business, like they're not gonna give a fuck about like, oh, but you want to do something weird for art direction? Like, I don't care. Like, this thing needs to fucking perform, otherwise I'm out of a job or something like that. I don't really know. This. So it's, yeah, it's again like trying to find the moments that you can push things if you want to keep art direction. I mean, a lot of it depends on the brand itself, kind of what your starting point is. Why is this? So yeah, you're not gonna get like a Apple to sign up for like doing something weird. Like you'll literally just be wasting time, unfortunately. Um, Scale, what's that doing there? To clean this stuff up. So yeah, like I mean, you have to put best practices first in terms of like the user flow, the experience has to be easy to understand. Um, Unless there's some brands where like e-commerce isn't all that important to them. And like they don't typically convert a ton off of there, or they're getting people converting, or like they're getting sent to their page directly from product pages, typically from their social channels. So they haven't always leveraged like organic traffic coming to their site. That's not who converts. So a big part, like there's so much you have to consider with the audience too. Um, like where they're coming from, who they are, what kind of like what demographic are you appealing to? Because yeah, if you're trying to do something for boomers, good luck. It'd be boring as shit. But that's, I mean, that's kind of ecom a lot of times. Like, kind of why I got out. Like, there were great clients. There were some that like really let us push things. There were some where it's just like, no, I don't get it. We're trying to appeal to like older, like moms buying something for their kids. That was kind of like always the cop out of, even if we were doing like a more progressive brand, there were more conservative people on their side who were just looking out for every use case. And I mean, maybe they had a really good insight into their business of like, we get a lot of moms buying product for their kids. So if you create e-com experience that just like they don't understand, it's going to be problematic. What the fuck? I did this really dumb. I have to redo this. But yeah, you know, Arjun, I don't know if that's the most satisfying answer. Um, oh, this is for dribble, so I don't have any constraints. Oh, so I went on that whole random tangent. My bad. If it's for dribble, you know, like I still think you have to be. I mean, you don't have to do anything. Let me rephrase that. I'm very sensitive to like being prescriptive. I very much don't want this to be prescriptive. Um, do whatever you would like. Um, but to me, it's important to keep like realistic um, limitations and considerations in mind when you're doing, even if it's yeah, just for dribble or just for fun. Um, this oh, there's one pixel too big, bitch. Um, because yeah, then you're just kind of doing art project for yourself, which is again, there's nothing wrong with. It's like if you want to get the most out of what you're doing, I would consider limitations to be very real. So it's like, oh, this brand is a little more conservative. Well, maybe I need to kind of tone it back. Because yeah, like if you do like because I mean, this is a concept. Like this is not grounded in, like I don't know what Singer's objectives are. So this is kind of a dribble project as well. I mean, it's going to go on my site and other places, but um, I mean, that's the reality of it. And I've trying to be realistic. This is an ecom also, so I guess this is more like general opinion on doing like unsolicited concept work is like keep it as real as you can. You can't know everything. Like if some people want to dog it because it's like, oh, this isn't actually what their business is. Like they, because I had that with Nixon. Like I posted up like my initial Nixon concept work I did on Dribble like forever ago, and there were some people who just wanted to shit on it, and especially like the guy who did it before, which whatever, he made it. He wanted to make it about like how it wasn't right, or no, that might have been someone else. I can't remember. I think he just pointed it towards his work. Yeah, he posted a link to his own work on mine, um, which was always hilarious to me. But there were some people in general, I don't know if it was in the comments or whatever, but it was just like, you don't know what the business objectives are. Like, this is irrelevant, basically, is what um, some people were saying. And it's true to a certain degree, like it is irrelevant. I don't know what their marketing plan is. I don't know what their ad spend is. I can try and look around and try and understand things as best I can, but there's going to be assumptions being made, and I mean, that's where I think a project's still useful. Like if someone wants to understand your thinking, like there's a clear line of logic of like, I did this because of this assumption. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't think that matters as much. It's like, hopefully it's not miles off. It's not just like assuming white is black and wet is dry. Like it's like, oh, they're gonna have like narrower product category going forward. So I went this route to try and just like elevate more marquee products. That might not be true at all. They might be trying to do, we want to diversify our product range and we want to like get people to understand the different categories more. Okay, that's an entirely different strategy. And because in your concept work you didn't know that, to me it doesn't matter. It might to some people, I don't really know. Um, but yeah, it doesn't seem like something to be too concerned about. I don't know why I'm doing all of these. That's a really long, meandering answer, I realize. Yeah, I'll probably make up my own constraints. I don't have any real e-commerce experience, so I just want to try it out. I mean, that's the best way to do it. Like that was what the Nixon concept was. Like I didn't really know anything about it and wanted to. I didn't see a whole lot being done in terms of like product storytelling and some of like the sticky elements. Like that was my like big thought was having like the product stick with you down the page. Like I don't know. In that moment, I think it was um, something interesting, but I don't know. I think it's good and like look around and see what other people are doing for e-commerce. I mean, there's very in terms of like the purchase flow, product pages, product education, how it happens, how you can passively do it, how you heavy-handed you want to be in different moments. It's there's kind of a lot to e-commerce. I'll just yeah, maybe model it off other sites as like a basis in terms of like strategy or understand the strategy and then deviate from it. But I don't know. What was I doing? Where's the zoom? Oh, it's not in assets and references. I think it's not. What? Hmm. Info? Yep, that's there. Yeah, give me like 2 seconds. Just gonna check on something real fast. I will be right back. All right, back. Scale slider. Oh, so I do have it here. Look at that nice little shifting. That's fun. So at least it's consolidated now. But it doesn't matter. I don't really need both. I just need like the basis. I might redraw. Or do I just do it from scratch? That'd be kind of nice touch. Maybe I do this later. It's kind of like a finishing touch. So when this thing comes out, like it all animates. So instead of coming out as one whole piece, it could be like the line animates. The line animates in kind of like the left side animates in. Like that, like over here on the left side. But keeping like thematic sort of thing. Like I know that's not really much of a theme, but it's like how you treat animation. So if I'm gonna have framing on things, like maybe I should be consistent. Why is that drifting? Where are you going? Info, ACS logo, footer, press off, start button ring. I don't even know where that thing is. Oh, it's right here, closed. So this is, oh, see, I always get messed up, like the layer name and source name. So this should just be hold frame. I know how to fix it. Yep. There's probably all sorts of weird interpolation or velocity. I don't know what the fucking right word is, but weird stuff going on. But yeah, I'm gonna need to build out the grid from here. I almost wonder if that's still too slow. Position of this, not the start ring. Block that. I don't need to mess with that. Position. $80, $20. Just doesn't feel like. Let's do 90, 40. That feels much better. Yeah, I think 90, 40 is going to be the number going forward. I think 80, 20 velocity feels pretty good, but it doesn't feel as, like, I think the way Matt put it was it doesn't feel as, like, emphasized. Like, there's a clear, like, ease in, ease out. Maybe means, like, extending duration. I think that's okay. Is this boring yet? Am I losing you guys? I feel like I've spent days on this. It's like, that's the thing with these motion prototypes. If you get them to any sort of like refined level, it's a lot of just this kind of, it's kind of a grind. That's the best way I put it. But at least I got that done. Build selector. I do wonder if I work on this little guy. And so, yeah, the one thing that like struck me as weird immediately was the fact that like whether or not the scroll bar, like, so this would be on mouse position. So I do need to move this. Where's the active? Oh, this is buried in here. Pre-comp purgatory. Let's go. This is active clip. Position. Over here. I'm gonna close some of these. My brain just needs a clear path. To what level do you bring an actual prototype, like for an actual handoff? I don't think I would never prototype to this degree unless it's like a very long, a very long project, um, where I had tons of time and all these details were super important, where it's, um, yeah, I guess more in like the product side, where it's like the overall feel needs to be really dialed in and signed off on before development. Um, so this might be for one of those instances, but typically like, so if I'm working like with Ari, I just would send him just static frames. Um, I'll just be like, hey, here's the start frame. This is kind of what I'm thinking. Um, that's here. So it really all depends on who I'm I'm working with in that moment, or what the objective is. Like if I need final sign off, like this is within the realm of possibility. Um, I definitely prefer not to. In some sense, like it's good and bad, I guess is kind of what I'm gonna say. It's like it's kind of arduous to go through um like this level of detail, but like I get the control over things that I want. Um, actually, this move is going to be tricky because this needs to catch mid transition. Yeah, this is going to be a pain in the ass. This might be all right, actually. Oh, no, it's not. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's like going into principle and creating like a more immersive, clickable prototype, which I haven't done for a while and probably be pretty painful for me to try and do for something like this. Um, there's like simple, what was, I don't, is Envision still around? I don't even, is that a thing? They fell off. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe this is just me living in a bubble, but I haven't heard much of anything about Envision for a while. I know their like studio was supposed to be this great tool. It seems like they had so much promise, but I think other tools just caught up. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I used to have just like simple clickable prototypes. So you can just go like create a web presentation. You click one page to the next, and that's your way of sort of navigating it. But yeah, this is kind of like a joint thing, like with the, um, oh, I'm moving mouse. I'm doing this backwards. This is really dumb. This is a problem with me talking and thinking at the same time. Sometimes it's not the greatest. But something like this is like such a kind of uncommon sort of interaction that like if you try and send someone, especially if it's like a client, um, like stills of this, they like what they see and what they think it's gonna be might be very different from what it actually is. So yeah, it really depends on who the client is and what they can sort of understand. Because I mean, had very capable individuals um, who specialize in other creative fields, just not like they just missed the boat entirely on different concepts. It's okay, like this is not their world, so I can't assume that they're going to understand it. This isn't perfect. It's not bad. I wonder if I just get rid of. If it's got a catch, it's almost like there's no easing. Hey, I think that works. You can see the position of the cursor drifts a little bit. It's like, it takes a second to catch. It like drifts up. Maybe that's because that changed. It's not perfect. Again, those little details, like I'm not gonna lose sweat. Not gonna lose sleep or sweat. Yeah, okay, good. You guys can't hear all the construction going on outside? Debating on whether or not I just closed the window. Looks like it's being flipped out. I don't know. So this is basically showing mouse position and then like a scroll wheel interaction. Although I've never seen an animation with like a scroll wheel indicator. It was just like kind of assumed the scroll was happening. There. I always just check noun project for random things. I mean, this is my most... That's what I equate scroll wheel with. Is that like, it used to be like a middle... You push the middle button, that's what would come up on screen. If I remember correctly. Could be wrong. All these like weird associations I don't think anyone else shares. But it'd be nice to show like that's what's happening here. And so I still have... Where's that going? That's the top nav. I can just turn it off for now. I think I'm gonna recreate it, actually. Let me just... Because I have this... Thing is, this actually yeah, it should show what's in the current focus state. Oh, don't move that, please. Yeah, so that is right. Let me just... So where does... Right? Yeah, here. This is kind of the important moment. I'll put it at 10 frames. So up before this point, I just need to have proper design for these. You can see I'm still getting like half pixel renders on this. Like, it should be full pixel everywhere, but size is full pixel units, but it's rendering at like half pixels. I don't know why. It might be the center point or the anchor point. Yeah. Anchor point being in the middle on a 1 pixel line. It's just trying to reconcile that. Because if it's 1 pixel, it's the center is technically like half. So that makes sense. Oh, that sucks though. And I'm back. So that's just my little animation going from hamburger, just consolidates into one line and then rotates out. I'm sure that's been done a million times, but this kind of feels nice with like the condensing of those and then the expanding of that and then the offset of these rotations. think they could be a little quicker. But I like that there's like a clear distinction between that. So what I do want to do, this is active background. I'll drop down active background. So I'll just need to recreate basically this, which this is in here. Just want to copy these, bring it over here. No. Did it really? There we go. Huh. That's interesting. Actually, I can get rid of this. I don't need that. I undid my work as usual. The escape key. Zoom out. This will be easier. SBD 001. So this should get covered by the active. Although this needs to be an opacity. This way it's always back there, which I think is nice. I feel like the lines are shifting right as it's like that background's expanding out over it. And I think there's like edge cases of like, let's say you're already on build number 9 and you hover over this, like is the nav always, so is the active one always going to show up right underneath? I think yes, but maybe not. And that sort of duplicate content right there is a little weird, if I'm being honest. It's almost like I should push it down. Yeah, I should. So this is the parent. There is a position shift on this somewhere. I think I deleted it. I think there was like a animate up, which is ironic because I think that's backwards. What? I don't think the best way to do this. I actually don't need that. I'm gonna show multiple. Sorry, I'm just thinking a couple logistics things out. Like, how do I get this from here to here? And it's almost just like getting rid of what I just did and moving this position up. That here for now, so I can get some clear space. Let's see if that works. See, it's a little slow. It's actually not that far off. 49, so that's 30 pixels. I mean, I think that's right. Right distance, technically. But yeah, this move happens a little late. Let's go ahead. Probably too early. Oh. Yeah, a little too early. Where's the scale shift? Happening right here. Wow, that's kind of long. Oh, once. Seems awfully vanilla though. Or boring as fuck, whatever you want to say. I like that. I don't like that. It's like I should do the same thing I was doing for the active state in the nav where it's masked. All I need to do, so this drop down is being masked by this this guy. So this height would be 30. Well, this is somewhere. Height, this goes to 30. Position, I don't think that moves. It does not. I can just make this 0. Now I can see it. The only problem is this. That arrow going underneath the hamburger. I will need to do the selected state, so what that looks like. So how you click on this, and I think it's all going to move up. I think it's just going to push that out. But it's going to be a little weird because the current design just has like a bottom bracket. So might need to be some bit extra work in that one. Let's check something fast. All right. This looks a little low. Video is aligning to the baseline, but I think it should all just be centered. Drop down parent. So this is what's nice about this approach is like, if I change, so the way I'm setting up the, oh no, this is gonna be, like this sort of content, like I had me having like the inactive state and the active state, it's all being pulled from the same stuff now. So both the active state and the inactive state just synced up, which I think is very useful. Position. So this is where position is set. Get rid of that. Yeah. This should be build name. Not all builds. The idea being it's sort of setting the context for what's happening there. Now that seems low. Oh. Oh, that's because this is moving at the wrong place. $400. I love all these just round numbers. Yep. I think at some point I need to figure out what else I need to do for this. Why is this end here? That is what I would like to know. Landing grid drop down. Oh, this is what I always fuck this up. It's like, how do you extend the clip without fucking with like the proportions? Oh, just like that. There you go. I got 30 seconds. All I need is 15. So my whole objective, showing the default state, hover. Click on the Malibu. So I also need to swap images at this point. That background fades out a little too aggressively. Landing grid. That's what this is. What's going on with this? I don't think I should adjust opacity at this level. So if I do it at like a, oh, I thought I was gonna be better off. Like that's why I put this into a pre-comp so I could just fade them all out at once. Maybe it's just too much. As I go even further. With this effect transparency. You know what? It's almost like I should keep, I need to break out this center image. So I have the grid, it's always there. It's kind of keeping place, but this image is just kind of on its own. This will be just called active. Or focus build. The other thing I saw when I was just copying this, or like looking at that playback, was how close that gets to the logo. That does not feel good. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I mean, maybe that top piece goes away. I don't really know. I have to look at that. At least with this, now I have, I put these at the same color, so I just use these as just like showing grouping. Look, they need more colors. It all looks so... How do all those look similar? Wild. So I want this main image. What's going on here? So opacity. I just basically want an opacity shift, a hue saturation shift. They should both do it. But at least I can control individually now, like what sort of opacity this is scaled at. This is a test. Focus build. This should be 25. Just want to be able to see it for context. Maybe 50. Well, I want to be very clear, like this is what's active right now. This should move to here. Kind of like the synchronous. I wonder if I use the same layout transition, so as you hover, if it's just like scrolling within that mask. I think that kind of makes sense. Then I just got to create another list of assets, basically a visual representation of this. So for the first like 6 or whatever, I'm just gonna have to duplicate that. So that's okay. That shouldn't be too bad. So much hammering going on today. And again, like if you're just coming through, doing motion, but free to do whatever today. Okay. I have to close this window. Grilling something right outside my window. And maybe it seems like the mic's not picking it up, but because of the noise filter, but kind of hard to focus. Just a grill is going hard outside. Okay. So focus build. You know, I'm just gonna make a quick rectangle so then I can just make the mask out of this. Should be a 920. I think it's 920 by 620. All these even numbers. Nope, 640. 680. 660. 660. Kind of. Then focus build. We'll do alpha matte. Oh, Mr. Austin. Wait, did you see that? That track mat? It's on top now. And I'm using size instead of scale. I'm a new man. Thank you, Matt. I was doing some of your prolonged easing curves earlier too. Always giving credit where credit's due. Want to make sure that's known. My work here is done. Ooh, 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 ooh. I don't know about that one, bud. There's a lot of greasy stuff going on. Yeah. It's getting better. I think like learning all these best practices and shit from you is I'm just getting used to them. I was talking about your keyframe velocity, 90/40. Shooting from a gun. You should pretty much be doing the stream. What the fuck am I doing here? I'm just regurgitating everything you've told me in private. Everything. Shit, what was I gonna do? What was I doing? Oh yeah, focus build. Proper masks. Fuck. Oh, Mr. Austin. You don't do a lot of like photo video work? Did you ever like get into color grading in After Effects? I might have to do that. I have no idea what to make of it. It's just go big or go home. And I'll probably need to change this order too, but I can just swap assets later easily. Ah, son of a fucking damn it. Oh, I thought I fixed all these. There's just like empty space baked into the asset because of how it's cropped in here. Smart. Yeah, I thought I did it all here. Which one is that? That's this guy. I actually don't like that one because the asset's like 16 by 9. There should be shots of other ones. I don't think Matt was kidding when he said his work here is done. Bounced out. Grid 4. Let's go back to assets. Overview, grid 4. Place. There we go. Oh, it was not kidding. Or was kidding. Fuck. Maybe I need more coffee. Never did the color grading, huh? Yeah, there's some guy, I can't remember what he's... This guy might do like, he's doing a bunch of 3D work and I might do some color grading on top of it. And just the workflow he's doing. It's like either DaVinci Resolve, which I think would be my preference. That's something I can spent some time learning. But After Effects, like I don't even know you could do color grading in it. What did I call this? Comp 2. Call this. This is such a stupid name. It will not make sense to me later. Aha. Nope. missing here? Focus build. I got this backwards again. Wait a minute. Oh. What? Fusion continues. Whatever that. And that previous grid layout means that there's something's fucked between these two. Grid drop down. This is components, but this is, yeah, the naming here is just getting a little sideways. I need to develop a system for this. It's gonna be easy to track, easy-ish to track right now as I'm doing it, but if I ever want to like leave and come back, it's gonna be rough. This just needs to be, this is why I was confused, because I knew the height of those images because I just exported them. I didn't understand why the grid or the mask was so different. So this should be 620 or 640? 620. Position. So this grid that's underneath is going to be a problem. It's not going to line up. I think I got rid of all of the effects that were on here. Match it up. Effect opacity. I don't understand why. Oh, I think I do. These should all just be 100. Let's get rid of it. Oh no. So then I'm handling everything for that through here. You can see the, yeah, the layout's all fucked. I don't understand why the saturation, oh no, it is. Opacity, let's go down to 30. 20. Okay. You can use an adjustment layer with color effects applied to it to affect all layers underneath it in the timeline, or you could apply them to an asset. Oh fuck, I didn't know you could do like standalone, like an adjustment layer. That's super helpful. Where do you do the adjustment layers? Or how do you... Oh. Because yeah, I know how to apply like the effects to... Is it just like creating... No, you can create a null. I'm not even gonna try and talk that out. Form makes it fewer effects to manage, but the latter gives you individual control. Yeah. Oh. Adjustment layer. Oh man. Interesting. So then what? I can just do like whatever colorized blue washes. I could figure this out. I've just done like pre-comping. So I pre-comped all those inactive images just so I could do bulk effects on all of them. But it sounds like I didn't need to do that. Delete that for now. Opacity 5. I really don't understand why that's. Should must be lower, like 15. This saturation is not coming out. There we go. Is there contrast? Contrast luminance? Holy shit, look at this thing. Interesting. Yeah, I should have known it was going to be this easy. I get rid of a fucking point. Can you not get rid of points? That was always option click was how you got rid of it. Adjustment layer bounds are automatically set to the comp size, but you can alter it through solid settings, or you can use it as a matte to adjust its shape. Interesting. I mean, this might not be all that bad for doing color grading. Still feels like DaVinci is going to be more powerful, but probably personal. Fuck you, get out of here. Oh, effects, remove, point, curve. You drag it outside the area? Oh, you fucking kidding me. Again, another one of those things that's like, why not just get on the same page? Everyone else. Hmm. For this position. Yeah, not enough. There are all these weird things going on. Oh, I see what's happening. It's because the other images aren't quite butting up. Well, timing's wrong. Hmm. This this grid in the background is just driving me crazy. So I'm gonna just copy this here. Hmm. Align to. That's right. If you zoom in, it does half pixels. Forgot about that. Hmm. Do -90. There we go. Clean up. I'll just hide it. Who knows? You'll need it at some point. And if I'm really being smart about this, I make this twice as big and expand out the grid because I know the overview is going to have. I want to show like how you browse the different builds. And so this means a broader like stitch work of images. This is where this is happening. I don't know why I'm so late. Problem is like those out of focus ones still don't seem like out of focus enough. I think they need like 5% opacity. Do want to add a new solid. Yeah. This gives it like, it's not quite, might just shift it down a little bit more. So it's not like pure black. Like it's kind of like my photo editing approach. Like I don't think anything has pure blacks when it comes to like the values in a photo. So it shouldn't exist. So just as these are like fading off into something, it's um, not fading out into like pure black. Like if it's just like desaturated, darkened over a pure black, it's going to look really dark. So I have one other move to make here. I need more build images. I have here. Take too long. I love these builds. I can do a couple extra that I probably need. Sorry, I'm forgetting I can listen to music. It just won't come the um, through the stream. This little guy right here. And if you want that playlist or any other links, type in !commands on Twitch chat only. I don't think it works on YouTube. Be double sure it's not coming through. That one already. I don't think I have this one. I think I do. All right, I'm gonna be done with this at 9 JPEGs. That's should be enough. Six. Okay. So this needs to go. Yeah, so one little thing I learned to do in Photoshop, it works. First time I tried it here, but if you do option click on these sort of carrots, it'll condense everything within inside of that. So if you have like nested folders and they're all open, oh, it doesn't do it. Usually if you click option close, it closes all of them. So just ignore that. I think it works at a system level in OS, Mac OS, and in Photoshop for sure. Because Photoshop, you get into like all these like nested, messy ass fucking folders and layers, and layer effects too. It'll condense layer effects, which is super nice. So yeah, try and make. It's not all rambling and swearing in this stream. There's a couple random, helpful things here and there, I think. I think that's the same build, but, fix that later. Might be enough to get me through that list. Let's see. Where's that next scroll? One thing I'm noticing is like doing those effects, man, it is slowing things down considerably in this rendering. Right here. I'll just turn that back on. This is... No, that's the main thing. Where is it? Why am I being so... It's top nav. Drop down content, images. That's the overall background grid. Drop down nav. There we go. Sorry, that took a second. Kind of par for the course these days. That starts right here. Be enough. Position of this guy. Where does it end? Here. How many do I drop? So it goes Atherton to Malibu. That's not many. That's just 1, 2, 3, 4. So what would that be? 920 times 4. This is probably not going to work, but why not? Or is it minus 3.6? No, it's neither. That's hard. Stay in school, kids. Don't know if that's enough. We'll see. There we go. I just definitely worry about the contrast between the active, not just between the active and inactive images, and the contrast of this list background, and the fact that this sort of like inactive ones are being. I like to use opacity over like actually solid colors, but this is where it's kind of burning me a little bit. It's inheriting too much of the background image versus just being a solid color. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, I'm really going to figure out what to do with this. This is not good. I do think the position's a little high. It's better. I don't know if that's going to fix it. I see like how slow it's previewing. And so I think like right here, I'm going to want to click. Hey, thanks, Juan. Appreciate it, man. It's getting there. There's still a lot of weird stuff to kind of hash out. But, you know, all the different pieces are starting to feel a little bit more real. But yeah, like the bottom of this menu, stuff like that. I was just thinking like whether or not this loops. So it's just kind of like this forever scroll, but I don't think so. So I just need to have that go to here. And then with the active image, it's this. So, oh no, I am stupid. Fuck, I should have done it at like full screen size and then scaled it down, knowing I was gonna upscale at some point. The idea is like you have to click on it and then it's gonna go into the detail, which would be something around here. Reminds me this landing image is wrong. Yeah. There always is? Yeah. Yeah, this is just a never-ending thing. It's, you know, it's not one thing, it's another, and I'm just gonna have to walk away at some point. But for like, because this is just concept work. This is salvaging something instead of it letting it die. So, fuck. Like I think I have to recreate this again, which is really dumb. I mean, I could do like a layer on top of it. That's full size and just animate that on top. Kind of inclined. Yeah, if I just export this at like the full size. Actually, I should just do, yeah, like one of these. These builds are so rad. No, fuck it, I'm gonna do this one. I love the colors on this. What is this called? Just rename this for a second. This would be, again, I really need to put some time into coming up with a much better naming convention because it's kind of doesn't make sense. And if I had to hand this over to someone else, like, I don't know what the fuck they would do, what they would think. Overview? Images? Why is a list of images called drop down? All good questions. So this. Are you kidding me? It's not the same fucking aspect ratio. Oh, having fun. Video is also so much more smoother. It's much more. Wait, video is also so much more complex than static design work, especially when you have comps within comps. One mistake more often than not creates a snowball effect. Yep. That. Yeah. I've been rolling around in that snowball for a little bit. I mean, there's been so many hard lessons learned. Um, yeah. I mean, I like tried to minimize that a little bit by like isolating all these different clips instead of having one just big timeline. Like as timing shifts, as everything shifts. But then you have the other problem, like you do one thing wrong and you have to have several instances of like, let's say my gallery navigation. I've got to then populate it across multiple things. Man, I hear you on. It's rewarding when it's all done and it all works, but some of the process is just like, man, I wish this was easier. So in favor of simplicity, I'm probably going to just mask this. Yeah, because I'm a bad person. And so I need to copy. Wish there was the easier way as well. Yeah, I mean, so this is like one of the other guys. I don't know if he's Matt, if you're still here. I mean, he works as a motion designer, and so he does a lot of like expression work to tie all sorts of things together. So it's all about just like animating a null and like that's going to dictate everything else. And programmatically, he can compute like I think one thing I saw he did was just like animate like the opacity based on its 3D position. Like takes a fuck ton of work up front just to like get that all set up properly, but for him he gets a lot of like client feedback. And so for me, like if I had client feedback with this video, I'd be fucked. So like, oh yeah, like let's try and like change the order of this and like let's get that a little bit longer. It's like, motherfucker, you like, you know how many like nested comps there are in this, and like trying to sync up timing between pre-comps. It's like, I don't know. This is why like I've never gotten past um what's it called? Like I just do like quick prototypes and like proof of mostly proof of concept stuff is what I do. So like production level stuff like that's kind of hard and above my pay grade. What am I looking for? Oh, I'm looking for the list. So it's the fireball image needs to swap. Good enough. Five 5.5. Hmm. Yeah, these aren't lining up. There's like a 1 pixel gap because the scale's not exact. This is probably not a great thing that I'm doing right now. To me, it's better than the alternative. It's gonna happen so quick. And it's gonna be at an opacity ramp. But I do need it to match the edges. That is important. So where's gonna be... I need to give it a moment to be here. So this position is wrong. This is another thing I'm doing. I'm like in too deep. I've created a click indicator, but it's the whole size. And so it's like the bounding box is fucking meaningless. I have to like find out where everything is. So I need to animate this. This is the beauty of like this quick shape thing that Matt mid. It is 1660, 1200. Oh, please tell me I animated that. I did not. Oh, I'll just do it again. This might end up with like a long ease out tail thing that I was showing earlier. Love it. Yeah, planning is definitely a must in video. Once I had to animate 5 hours worth of learning material. Holy shit. That's where I learned the planning lesson, especially with client feedback. Got to run, have a good stream. Hey, thanks for coming through, Juan. I can't even imagine 5 hour video with client feedback. Like, that sounds like a whole thing. Why you no fill the screen? Fuck. Oh, it's time to fix the position. See, that bugs me. That bugs me a lot. Yeah, the masking window's not right. Like, I don't know where these image size came from. Like, all those grid alts, like, these. Not the right aspect ratio. Hmm. Well, I've done it before. I'll also do it again. So I'm gonna do this properly this time. I'm tired of doing it half-assed. As I put stuff on our board that shouldn't be. Yeah, that might be the original size for that. That one doesn't matter as much. Yeah, all this like original size stuff, like, so if you're get a lot of bloat in sketch files, where is it? There's a way to reduce see if I can find it. Doing an awful job at explaining this. Yeah, reduce file size. So if you do that, it'll like, so when you import images into Sketch, it wants to try and retain the original size, which largely can be useless. Or if you get handed like some monstrous assets and you don't want to scale them down before importing, you can just scale them to about the right size. And it's actually pretty smart in how they do it. It just gives you like, I don't know what the value is. It's like a 25% buffer. So it'll keep it larger than the instance you keep it, but it won't be like, it won't save the original asset that's like 10x the size of like what you're actually using it for. But it also comes back to bite you in times like this when I've got to try and see if I have these in the proper size. And for me, a little bit of upscaling is okay. Especially in video with things being so sort of like transient. And yeah, so this This is like an example of just poor planning and not really seeing the big picture of like, I don't know why I didn't do the math and understand that like, hey, these images, they're gonna have to go full size at some point. Um, so instead of doing that like smaller, like specific to that use, it was all right, maybe go a little bit bigger, scale it down, knowing I have to scale back up. So there's a lot of this sort of fun stuff with motion. Like you export something out thinking you know where it's going to go, but if you have to pivot, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and end up redoing a ton of shit again. And so it's gonna, things are gonna look kind of shitty for a second. Because it's gonna overwrite all these assets. I'm trying to reduce the amount of dumb shit I do live on a stream, but sometimes it just can't be helped. I think that's gonna, yeah, that's too small. I should be using this build. You can be able to see like what this is doing in a second. So you can see like all these images just got way too big. So if I'm having that problem, I'm gonna try and solve a couple problems all at once right now. And so this alt image that's been pasted on top, I'm just not gonna go down that road. That's not advisable. I'm trying to be better about realizing when those moments are, but I'm still prone to want to do them. I want. So instead of doing a proportion calculator, a lot of times I'll just use this. I'll just create a random shape, lock the proportions, and then just do whatever math. So if like I'm scaling it down to 920. It's good. It doesn't round out nicely. It's all right. I have a little bit of masking extra. 665. Shape, width. This should be 660. So this same mask, it's actually not affecting anything right now. This one that is. Take note of the edges of the photos when you scale them down. Depending on their original dimensions and their scale value, you might get half pixels, in which case you'll want a clean matte. Wait, where are the half pixels? Like on the edges? I'm assuming, yeah, that's got to be what you're talking about. So yeah, if I have that like 660, oh shit, I didn't even, fuck. It's not on my alert box up yet. Juan, thank you for the raid. Shit, I had no idea. I gotta work on all the stream assets. Random question. What monitor do you use, or are you working on an iMac? I have the XDR display. So I went broke. I said fuck it. buy once, cry once sort of mentality. Um, all like the color grading I'm doing, I want to push more into like video. Um, I mean, just color grading in general. I do kind of a lot of it. So color accuracy was really important. Um, and like getting into LG monitors or, I mean, LG monitors pretty much are Apple monitors. So I could have gone that route. They have like the 5K ones. Um, I just, yeah, I didn't want to fuck about with any sort of like inconsistencies. And for me, the old Thunderbolt display is what I had up to that point. I mean, I had like an old one. Like all the cables were frayed and everything, but like I could always trust the colors. Like it was just one of those things I felt comfortable with. And I should probably could have saved some money and gone like, yeah, LG and done the calibration and spent some time learning. But this is kind of like a forward, future-proof purchase. Although I was talking with Matt Austin yesterday about it. So I have a Mac Pro as well, and I had that sitting on my desk. And part of the reason is because you can't have cables. Thunderbolt 3 cables aren't available. They don't currently exist over 2 meters. I guess there's something in the physics, the amount of energy you have to and data you have to transfer um, over that distance becomes physically impossible. I guess there's people who have threads about it. I guess like Apple and Intel were overly ambitious of what they could achieve. Um, the only other options now are like optical cables, which um, also ironically, if you do that, you you still don't get 6K, so you're only getting 5K, which I mean, cry me a river. It's terrible, but um, yeah. So that's always been like the limitations of this fucking thing. Of like, and then like because I can't have that the longer cables, I can't run them where I want them to, so it's all clean. So if I put this standing desk up, um, all the cables just like drip down to my Mac now, and it drives me fucking crazy. But yeah, cry me a river. I know. Um, yeah, thinking of going for an LG Ultrafine XDR a little out of my budget. Yeah, trust me, I my bank account deeply regrets buying it. And I mean, the LG Ultrafine, it's probably very, very close. Like all the things you hear about, like the local dimming and all that stuff with the XDR. I don't know, like what something I was talking with my brother about yesterday was so he just treated himself and bought some like ridiculous fucking 8K TV that's got local dimming and all this stuff. Um, and I mean, it's got all sorts of other shit, but and like the fact that he bought 8K when you like nearly nothing's available in 8K also is funny. Um, I guess you could say the same about 6K. But how poor the local dimming is on the XDR display is best represented when you're doing updates to Mac OS. Like when it shuts the screen down and it's pure black with like the Apple logo in the middle. The amount of just like haloing you see around that thing is fucking crazy. So it's like every other time, like even if I'm editing my own images, I don't really notice it all that much. Like maybe a little bit in like really dark images, but not enough. I don't have high contrast dark images. I'm pretty low contrast. Um, but yeah, that install screen just it's like I don't think you guys got that local dimming right. And like million to one contrast ratio? No, not quite. So I gotta remake this fucking thing. But to that point, yeah, like I know a couple people. Jim DeBrock he runs dual 5K LG Ultrafine. I think they're 5K. 4K. I thought they were 5K. I thought they looked more like this, but they were 5K. 27 inches. Hmm. These are wild to me. These like ultra wide curved. Oh, it's not the same thing. Hmm. Oh, Apple's selling it. There you go. Yeah, these are great. I feel like I've been perfectly redundant. Did you get it with the nano texture glass? I did not. Um, you know, I was already like tapped out. Because I did also buy the stand, which, I mean, the stand is just like a thing of beauty. Now that I'm like starting to, like, I have this mic mounted to my desk. I kind of like the idea of having my monitors mounted to the desk. Um, Part of me at some point, if I like, I don't know, I really don't need it, but I just saw, what is it? Marquise Brownlee, the guy who does all the tech reviews. He did like a walkthrough of um, his setup, and I was just looking at all sorts of stuff with that. He has like so he finally convinced me of like, because he has the same problem if you do, um, I don't know what's gonna show up for my recommended. Who knows? Been watching all sorts of interesting. Um, it's like all these like LSD. Like, what's his name? The guy who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Um, was it like Buy a Ticket, Take the Ride? There's a documentary on Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah, so now I get all sorts of like interesting recommendations. But yeah, he goes through his setup. I think it's in like his studio. He has like a different channel now. Actually, yeah, this. Is it this one? I think it is. Like, look at that, just dual display. I was looking at that. I was looking at the what's it called? The Apollo Twin. Like, do I really need that? No, but I want it. But you can see, I think this is a different video. I can't believe his studio is that crazy. This is the same one. Oh yeah. You see, like he's got his Mac Pro down on the desk. Like, there's literally nothing he can do about that. He talked about mounting it under his desk. And a lot of like this computer mounts for under desk, like the max weight is right around the Mac Pro's weight. It's like, do you really want to dangle something using a mount that's right at its max capacity? Like, I'm not in a rush to do that. I'll deal with the dangling wires. It's not pretty, but yeah, he's got a pretty sweet setup. I think he has the nano texture you can see from that top-down view. Problem is they don't sell in the UK. This isn't on the Apple website here for some reason. Oh, Kieran, you talking about the ultrafine? I've heard it's been weird. It's like come on and off of the Apple Store as there's I think, yeah, the pictures you're talking about, like the more affordable version with an integrated GPU. Yeah, I had heard about that too, and like if I'm being entirely honest, I do not need 6K. It's done is created more headaches than it's helped. It slows down Lightroom. Like this Mac Pro I have struggles with fucking editing Lightroom photos. Mostly because it's rendering so many fucking pixels that Lightroom's not really meant for that. So it does well with Capture One. Capture One's a little bit more optimized. But yeah, it's if they come out with like a 4K version at like half the price, it probably won't be half the price. It should be. There's such like a market. Like no one has. I mean, the LG Ultrafine I think is kind of like the standard that sits below the XDR, but the XDR like I don't know. I think I like to justify in my head for all the color grading I do. If I was just doing web design, I don't recommend the XDR. Save your money. Like I love it for the color accuracy and like the refined sort of controls, but most people don't need it. This is probably gonna cause problems. Let's see. It should be all right. You can see the ones that got updated, the ones that didn't. The other thing I was thinking about, instead of 32 inches is pretty good with the XDR. I don't, every once in a while I find like I used to have two Thunderbolt displays and a MacBook Pro. And having the MacBook Pro as like my dedicated messages, Slack, email, there's something about it that's really nice that I miss. So I was even looking at getting a iPad Pro and putting that on like a stand and using Sidecar. Because that's what I use right now. Like I have my little iPad hooked up as a second display. That's where I put all like the Streamlabs configuration and controls. But that with like this doesn't have Apple Pencil support, so if I can get something where I don't think there's anything you can do like Wacom or Wacom, whatever the hell you want to call it, type drawing with the Apple Pencil and have it affect something like Photoshop, unless I'm wrong. I might be. I should know this. I worked on the Why iPad page. Sadly, don't tell anyone. And I don't know. I know the sidecar is a thing. I think you can open up Photoshop on an iPad and draw on it, just in the same way you can do with the Wacom tablet. I just wish there was a way to navigate like the full screen with an iPad Pro, in the same way like the Wacom. Like I haven't brought it out. I just have to wire it every time, and the wireless connection. I think I've done it on here. It's like you never know what's gonna happen. Sometimes it works. Sometimes like I turn on the Bluetooth for the tablet and my headphones go out. It's like, all right, well, this is the game we're playing. I already got that build. I think some of them. I don't think this is big enough. That's pretty small. I've already got this build. And the colors in some of these are just... JW.S. I don't know if this one... Oh, that's this one. I already have that here. Okay. Should all be masked. Oh, that's why. That's not in the artboard. Actually, I don't need to do it. It seems to be clipping it. Okay. That was painful. We're almost done. Is that the right one? 6. Slowly getting this right. Oh, I can use this. I really need to dive into Motion 3 plugin. Keep on hearing how great it is, but all I really use it for is anchor points right now. It's probably criminal, but that's odd. I'm not going to think about that too much. Like, why is that keeping the old bound, like the old constraints of the old, like the smaller image? These aren't being scaled up. Why is that doing that? Awfully strange, but I'm not really animating these at all. Part of me thought about like masking each of them, so there's like a slight offset animation going on within, but I don't know. I don't think that's really necessary. I don't think there's any mask bounds, Mr. Austin. Like, that's really confusing. Is that just a fun little After Effects? Maybe that's a good name for it. After Effects. It's trying to kill me. I should throw a trademark on that right now. Diving into After Effects. This is like the stupid like monologue I have by myself, and for better or worse, I'm kind of externalizing it right now. So I'm not sure if I should apologize or what I should do. Yeah, so this is all fucked. This whole thing's scale needs to come down like 50. Yeah. And yeah, these are all fucked too. Hey, love to see it. Scale should be 50. What about 1660 divided by 2 should be 920, right? Oh, wow, 830. Uh-oh. Shouldn't have said that out loud. See, this is doing the same thing. What is that about? It's the only one that is like, but it's like different. Oh, that's because I changed the center point. That's so strange. Okay, so this is the... I'd say this is going to be the last time I do this, but it's probably not. I'm not going to lie to you. Yep, and that's actually not even accurate anymore, so that's good. That is, that's updated. This should be, this is be 55. Yeah, these, so it has a ton of these effects on it. I should probably just turn it off for now. See, that resolve position's not right. Let's not go as far. And then this. $31.50. Yeah. Yeah, there's just some weird inconsistencies now with the way I was doing it before, and I'm trying to like reconcile what these image sizes are. And I should just, this is being masked to this. 920 by 620. I want to double check that. No, that's not right. Because I did the math earlier and it was not, it was like 660. It was 665. I'm just gonna turn this grid off. It's gonna drive me crazy. There we go. If this is right. Did I miss the... Yeah. So now, I think right 9 seconds is when. Just gonna get, this whole thing is gonna scale instead. Fuck, this is, ah, man, this is the same problem I ran into before. I should have seen this coming. So the Y position is moved, or the anchor point moves. I should do a position null. And yeah. So this. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what I learned from Mr. Austin. So this thing never actually moves. Its position's parented to the position of this. Well, that's scale. That's not what I want. Position to this, scale to this. Oh, let me just mark these moves real fast. Scale. Just so I can have some sort of delineation between the two. I don't care about those caps. Oh, unreal. Wait, Matt, am I doing this right? Yeah, I am, I think. Hmm? Oh, I see what's happening. Yep. The scale should be 55. I might be in over my head with this. Why did that disappear? Yeah, so the anchor position is not, it's like way down. It's like on the center, which is what I thought the position null was supposed to achieve. Unless I'm mistaken. Oh, so the position scale null is there. Position null. It's way the fuck off the bottom. This is what I was afraid of. You know what? Just not even gonna fuck with it right now. See, the idea is like, if I need to do scaling in and out, this is something that Matt helped me with before. Like my free scroll interaction, like this long set of comps, like the center point is always in the middle. So that's where, oh, see, maybe I just need to do a full parent versus just the individual scale, like attributes. So this is positioned, position null, and the position null is to the scale null. That's what it is. Well, let's see if I can do this real fast. That's close. Heard some grumbling. What I miss? Oh man, I'm trying to do your position and scale null. So this needs to be parented to the position null, which then needs to be positioned to the scale null, versus like the individual attributes. So I tried parenting the position of this to the position null, and the scale of this to the scale null, and then just like everything kept moving. So I got to do this again. Is that right, Mr. Austin? This should keep my anchor point in the middle. Parenting in terms of individual properties via expressions basically says use this exact value from over here, whereas parenting the layer themselves respects their own properties. I think I understand. It's working better than it was before, so I can tell you that. So scale null. So this should be 55. And this should just be 100. Son of a bitch. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. At least when the scale shifts. Okay, that is working properly. Okay. Slightly painful, but largely correct. I like you just listen in the background, hear grumbling. This idiot's done something. I think that's too far. Hmm. Hmm. It'll like wobble. So this, yeah, it's because this is linear. I know there's like positions not quite right on that. Yep. At least that works properly now. A little bit of frustration. It's a learning experience. This initial position is just not quite right. There we go. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Oh no, this. Oh, I fucked up. Should not be fucking about with any of this. Why are you moving? Oh, that's, I know why. I was trying to do it off of the position. I was doing it off opacity. Who knows what I'm looking at sometimes. Yep, so that position, not quite right. I don't know why, but I always need to like play it back further so I can see like the lead in. So this is the click. So the drop down nav is going to have to do basically the reverse. So right now it's just a simple mask unmask. It'd be really nice to do each of them individually. I will in time, I think. I think this is just kind of a temporary thing. my goal right now is to get everything to like 80%. Like get all the timing right, get a lot of the finesse right, but then leave opportunity for just like added details. And then I've given myself to the end of this week, like splitting time between this and actually trying to find work. Huh. Interesting stuff happening. Very interesting. Yeah, so there's gonna be things like that. It's like even in like the Zoom grid, me being able to like animate things, like the lines coming in, all things I want to do. And I think a lot of the meta in some of the like all this data over here could be really interesting to animate. And by interesting, I mean slightly painful. That's all right. Also got to write all this stuff. So I mean, I'm really like, I don't know, not too far off. It's a lot of refinement. A lot of like the leg work is kind of done at this point. Yeah, that guy bugs me. What are you doing? So this is the out right here. Just mark that as such. What else needs to go in reverse? Active clip. What's this? I think you can reverse. But it's gonna need to go even higher. It's gotta stay high. So also at this this position of this needs to go kind of back to here. Oop. I don't think the clip maybe happens after. Let's just move it for now. Because it could also be as easy as, so there's like the so this is my inactive, I believe. Nope, got it backwards. So at this point, I feel like if I could just fade out the opacity of the inactive ones, and then it's not so much about, move this down. That happened. Okay. Go to here. I'm just trying to get this active one back up to this top position. So if I fade out everything else, then I'm just left with this primary one. So this should start here. Active position. So this is parented to this though. So technically with this, the inactive one is technically the parent. So I'm going to still animate it even if it's not being shown. It's not quite there. But for now, I'm going to take this animation, this fade out. Where's Malibu? Be right there. So I know it's 30 pixels per. So then if I just do 130, that should be the right position. And then fade it out. It's not encouraging because that's not right. This must not be the right. Double check. Make sure these are properly velocity. Ah, so close. Slightly confused why that's not. I not want to. Why is this not 20? That should be 8. Right. 80, 20. 80, 20. It must not be going the same distance. Damn, it's already noon. That's flying. Oh yeah, this position. My math was clearly not right. Oh, that's why. 160. Nope, but I did it for both. Can't tell you how many times I've done that where I input manual positions, but I have multiple keyframes selected, so then it just fucks everything up. Yeah, there we go. Simple math error. Yeah, now that just needs to go over the top of this. Which might be a little difficult, but I think I can figure out a janky way to do it. I think I'm gonna call it there for now. That's like just shy of like 3 hours, 45 minutes. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be working on this more. Ooh. My Mac Pro's down by my feet now, and it's not like a foot warmer. This thing's cooking. But yeah, thank you everyone who came through. I might come back later. Just gonna eat, kind of get my life together, and yeah, maybe like evening, like 4 or 5, I'll jump on. But yeah. Thank you again. Thank you to all new followers. And if you have any suggestions, definitely leave it in the comments if you're on YouTube. And I know Matt will like this. Like, comment, or subscribe. Obligated to say that as a streamer. So, all right. I'll be back.